I'd like to thank and welcome all our witnesses in before us here today, and certainly it's, for me, very insightful, very concerning. Obviously AI has huge potential and has proved positive in terms of, as has been alluded to here, safeguarding children online and sexual predators and all of that. So there are benefits, but there are real concerns there. And for me, I've probably just wrote down 4 or 5 areas that I think, to me, probably what I've listened to could be probably condensed into these. And privacy is a huge one, obviously. Children's data privacy can be compromised, and I suppose that'll lead to a first question, just in terms of GDPR legislation, as to whether GDPR legislation is actually strong enough to protect, from those threats around AI. I might just go through the questions first, Chair, if our witnesses want to take note. I suppose then there's the whole safety in general, inappropriate content, interactions, ethical considerations, dependency. That was alluded to. Physical health. Obviously, the social media, their goal is to try get children, particularly, to engage in more screen time, and the psychological impact. For me, they're the main areas of concern. There was some data given out, and I just want to drill down into it, and quite concerning. There was a figure there of 84% of children between the age of 8 and 12 that have social media accounts. And if you have a look at, all of the major social media platforms, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Snapchat, it's all 13 plus. So for me, that says quite clearly that self-regulation does not work. So just to ask that question as to whether, I presume everyone agrees with that. But there was another specific piece of data given of 37% of children between the age of 8 and 12 on Snapchat. And do we have the data for each of those major platforms as to whether that's available? And there was also, for me, and this probably sums it up as to why these platforms are very slow or not enforcing their own guidelines. And it was a survey carried out by Harvard in 2022 that found that Meta, Twitter, Snapchat and TikTok made a combined profit of $11 billion from children under the age of 18, and $2 billion of which was from children under the age of 12. And to me, that is, it's absolutely startling. And I suppose to ask the question as to whether we have that data specific to Ireland. If we do, I think it would be certainly very helpful. Just obviously, as legislators, the critical piece for us in here is, the legislation that is required to be put in place. And there was one example there, concerns were cited around Section 3 of the Harassment, Harmful Communications and Related Offences Act. And, I suppose the concerns around AI were given there. Can I ask, in your view, is that a critical piece of legislation that should be amended, immediately? Should it be given priority? And what other legislation? I know it's a very broad question. What would you deem as priority legislation to be enacted? And just the final area, obviously, Commissioner Naman, it's very welcome. Can I ask, in terms of the terms of reference that have been given to that body, are they extensive enough to deal with all of these issues here around AI, or whether there are concerns there that, you know, they won't have enough powers, or there's not going to be enough focus in relation to all of that. So I think that's it, Cathaoirleach. And again, just to thank our witnesses.